Something is not normal. Something unusual has been happening. A man keeps coming to my clinic. He has visited 3 times in the past 3 weeks. During the first visit, he said he had a cough. On the second visit, he complained of back pain. Now, on the third visit, he says he has chest pain. Each time I run all the necessary tests, but every result comes back normal. He doesn't have a fever. His breathing is fine. His heartbeat is steady. There are no signs of real illness. Everything seems okay, at least on paper. When I talk to him, his answers are short and vague. If I ask how he feels, he might say, "A little." If I ask when it started, he says, "Not really sure." Sometimes he just shrugs. I try to understand. I ask follow-up questions, hoping he'll explain more, but the more I ask, the less he says. I'm a doctor. My job is to help people feel better, but this patient leaves me puzzled. He doesn't seem sick, but he keeps coming back. He doesn't ask for medication. He doesn't seem worried or scared. And yet, week after week, he shows up again. I begin to wonder, is he hiding something? Does he need help but doesn't know how to ask for it? Or is something else going on that I can't yet understand? Today, I see his name again on my schedule. He's back. This time, the reason is different again. He says he has a headache. I prepare his file and try to stay calm, but I feel uneasy. I have so many questions in my head. Why does he keep coming back? Why do I feel nervous before I see him? And why do I keep remembering his voice after each visit? When I call his name, he enters the room quietly. He sits down and says, "I have a headache." I nod and begin asking my usual questions. But inside, I feel something is off. This doesn't feel like a regular medical case. There's something going on that I can't see yet. A week later, he returns again. Now he says his stomach hurts. I ask when it started. He replies, "Yesterday." I ask if he ate something different. "No," he says. I ask if he has any other symptoms. Again, he says, "Not really." Every visit follows the same pattern. The complaint is always different, but the feeling is the same. Short answers, no clear symptoms, no real diagnosis. I start to wonder, is he lonely? Is he anxious? Is he afraid of something I don't know about? I want to ask him directly, but I hesitate. What if I'm wrong? What if I say the wrong thing? Maybe he feels safe here. Maybe he just needs someone to notice him. But deep down, something tells me it's more than that. It feels personal. One day, I mention him to the nurse. I say, "This patient comes here a lot. I don't think he's sick." She looks surprised, then says, "Maybe he just likes you." I pause. That thought never crossed my mind. I say, "No, that can't be true." But later I wonder, what if it is? What if he's not coming here for medical help? What if he's coming to see me? I don't know how to feel about that. I try to remain professional. I try to focus on my work. But every time I see his name on my schedule, I feel something strange. Not fear, not irritation, just a quiet question with no answer. Another week, another visit. He says he feels dizzy. I ask the usual questions. His answers are still short. Just a little. Since this morning. No, not often. I run a few more tests. Again, everything is normal. I say, "You're okay." He replies, "Okay," but doesn't get up. He stays quiet for a few seconds. Then he looks at me and says, "Thank you." I nod, and he finally walks out. Afterward, I look at his file. 5 visits in 5 weeks, 5 different problems. No medical explanation, no illness found. I sit at my desk and ask myself, what's really happening? I'm a doctor. I want to help him, but I don't know how. I don't even know what kind of help he needs. I try to forget. I try to move on. But the next week, he returns. This time, he doesn't talk about a health problem. He simply says, "I want to talk." I ask, "Talk about what?" He says, "Stress." That's something new. I listen, carefully. He opens up, just a little. He tells me he feels tired, but not because of his job. He feels confused, but not about his daily life. And for the first time, it starts to make sense. Now I realize this might not be about illness at all. Maybe he came all this time because he needed someone, not just a doctor, but a person, to listen. And maybe, finally, he's ready to be heard. He paused for a moment, then went quiet. I asked gently, "What is confusing you?" He looked down at the floor, avoiding my eyes. No reply came. I waited patiently. After a long silence, he whispered, "It's nothing important." But I could tell he wasn't being honest. I thought about asking more, but something inside made me stop. The feeling I had wasn't part of my job anymore. It felt like something more, something personal. The next day, he didn't return. A week passed, then 2. Still, there was no call, no booking. I checked the clinic system. His name was no longer on the list. I told myself he was probably okay now, that he no longer needed to visit. Maybe he got better, but deep inside, it felt like something was missing. Then one morning, I saw his name again. My heart reacted before my mind could stop it. I felt surprised, and something else I didn't want to name. He came in, sat down, and said softly, "I feel okay." I asked, "Then why are you here today?" He looked into my eyes and said, "I'm not sure." I didn't know how to respond. We sat there in silence for a few seconds. Then he said, "I didn't come to talk about my health." My heart began to beat faster, but I kept my voice calm. "So, what did you want to talk about?" He looked serious. "You," he said. I was stunned. This wasn't something I had been trained to deal with. I asked quietly, "What about me?" He looked down again, then back at me. "I like you," he said. "I know it's unusual. I know this isn't how these things are supposed to go, but I had to say it." I didn't know what to do. I just sat there, unsure of what to feel or say. Then he stood up. "You don't have to say anything," he said. "I just wanted to be honest." And then he left, just like that. Now I sit at my desk, looking at his file. I don't know if he'll return. I don't know how I truly feel. But I do know this. He wasn't just another person walking through my door. This was different. A week has passed since he said goodbye. He told me how he felt, and then walked away. Every day I look at the schedule, wondering if his name will show up again, but it doesn't. I tell myself it's for the best, that it wasn't professional, that he should move forward. But my heart doesn't fully agree. Another week slips by, no call, no visit, no message. I keep busy, helping others, writing notes, finishing tasks. I go home, eat dinner, try to sleep. But each day feels a little more empty than before. I don't want to admit it, but the truth is, I miss him. Then, on a quiet Friday afternoon, the receptionist calls me. "There's someone here to see." "You?" she says. "No appointment." I ask, "Who is it?" She tells me his name. My heart skips a beat. I pause before replying, then say, "Send him in." He walks in looking nervous. I don't say anything. I just wait. He starts, "I'm sorry for what I said last time." I shake my head. "You don't need to apologize." He continues, "I didn't want to make things uncomfortable for you." "You didn't," I answer softly. We sit there quietly again. Then he says, "I didn't come today because of an illness." I nod. I knew that already. He adds, I came because I wanted to ask something. I listen. He hesitates, then says, would you like to have coffee with me? Not at the clinic, not as doctor and patient, just as two people. The room feels silent, like everything else disappeared. I think about my answer. I remember the guidelines, the expectations, the responsibility. But I also think about how I feel, and then I say, yes. He looks surprised, then smiles. Not today, I add, but maybe soon. He nods. That's enough for me. He thanks me and leaves. This time it's different. There's no made-up reason, no test needed. He came with honesty, and that changed everything. Now I sit in my office watching the door. I don't feel confused anymore. I don't feel fear either. I feel something else. Hope. 2 days later, I get a message from him. Hi, Elalina. I know you're probably busy. Just let me know when you're free. I wait a while before replying. Next Saturday, 5 p.m., I type. He responds, perfect. Thank you. When Saturday arrives, I finish my shift early and head to the cafe. He's already there, waiting. We sit and begin to talk. At first, it's light conversation, where we grew up, favorite foods, music. Then he says something unexpected. There's something I didn't tell you before. I look at him. What is it? I saw you 6 months ago, he says. In a hospital. I'm confused. Which one? He tells me the name. I remember it. I was there only once, filling in for a day. He continues. You came into my father's room. You didn't know I was there. But I saw how kind you were to him. You smiled, even though he was difficult. That moment stayed with me. I never forgot it. I sit quietly, taking it in. He says, that's when I knew I wanted to meet you again. Now, everything makes sense. What started as confusion turned into something real. And now, here, we are two people finally speaking the truth. You were helping someone else. You didn't notice me, but I saw you. Just for a few seconds. But something stayed with me, he says softly. I listen closely. I didn't know your name. I didn't know who you were, he continues. But I kept thinking about that moment. I started looking for you. I asked people, and after some time, I found this clinic. I stay quiet, surprised by how far he went. You came here just to meet me? I finally ask. He nods. Yes, I know it sounds unusual, but I had to see if you were real. For a moment, I don't know what to say. My thoughts race. I remember everything. The first day he came in pretending to feel sick, the quiet appointments, his sudden goodbye, and then his return. Now, all of that feels different. It all makes sense now. He speaks again, gently. I wanted to stop. I told myself this was too much. But a small voice inside me told me not to give up. I thought maybe I was being foolish. But maybe I just believed in something good. I feel something new rising inside me. It's not confusion, not fear. Something warm, something honest. A feeling I haven't felt before. You were right, I say. I am real. And I know deep in my heart that what we are sharing is real too. We sit without talking, but the silence doesn't feel awkward. It feels calm. It feels comforting. Something inside me has shifted. He isn't just a visitor anymore. He's someone who waited, who searched, who believed. And now, he's someone I want to understand better. From that day on, we meet every Saturday. Same place, same time. Each meeting feels meaningful. We don't talk about the clinic anymore. We talk about our lives, our dreams, and sometimes our fears. I begin to trust that this feeling is genuine. that maybe it's the beginning of something strong and true. Then, one day, he shares some news. I need to travel for a few weeks. It's for work, he says. Where are you going? I ask. He tells me the name of a city that's far away. Will you come back? I ask, trying to hide my worry. He smiles. Of course, I'll be back soon. That Saturday is the last one before his trip. We drink coffee together, laugh at little things, and enjoy each other's company. Don't forget me, he says. How could I forget you? I reply. He leaves with a smile. I wave goodbye, but I feel a strange emptiness inside. A week passes. There's no message. I wait, telling myself he must be busy. Another week comes and goes. Still nothing. I send him a message. No reply. I try again. Silence. I begin to worry. I check the news. I look at flight updates. I search for any sign, but I find nothing. It's like he disappeared. 1 month passes, then 2. A whole year goes by, and still, no word from him. Every Saturday, I sit at the same cafe table. Same seat, same view. I remember every detail, the way he looked at me, the moment he told me the truth, the coffee we shared, the laughs, the feeling of hope. People sometimes ask, what happened to him? I say, he had to leave. Will he come back? Maybe, I reply. But deep down, I know he won't. I may never find out why. I may never know what happened. But I don't regret a single moment. He showed me something pure, something kind, something real. It didn't last forever, but it meant something true. And sometimes, that's enough. Love doesn't always stay. Sometimes it's brief. Sometimes it leaves without warning. But that doesn't make it less meaningful. I'll always remember him. He walked into my life with a lie and walked out carrying my heart. Love isn't perfect. It doesn't always follow rules. Sometimes it's short, but it leaves a mark forever. Elena never expected love. She didn't look for it. But when it arrived, it changed her. And even after it ended, it left behind something beautiful. Sometimes the people we meet for only a moment teach us lessons we remember forever. So be honest, be open, be brave, and never forget. Real love isn't measured by how long it lasts, but by how deeply it touches your heart.